Chair Knight.
Present.
Committee Member Wheaton informed us he will not be here this evening. Committee Member Eric.
Present.
Committee Member Lanier. I see a hand. Committee Member Reynolds.
Here.
Committee Member Moon. See a hand, thank you. Committee Member Lawrence.
Here.
Committee Member Barney.
Here.
Committee Member Castillo.
Here.
Committee Member Rizzo. She's not here so far this evening. Committee Member Henshaw. Don't see her. And alternate committee member, is it Twila or Twyla?
Twyla.
Twyla, okay. Thank you. All right, we have quorum.
All right, for those of us in the room here, please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Chris, would you like to start us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone to the August 4th, 2021 CAC meeting. First off, I'd like to welcome our new members. We have Amasa, is that right? I'm sorry, how do you pronounce your name?
Amasa, like amethyst with S.
Welcome, and Twyla. And also to our guest tonight in the room, which we'll have you come up here in a little bit and introduce yourself. I wanted to call the agenda to view and suggest that before we move on to number 2, the review and approval of the minutes, that we need to look at who we want to have as chair and co-chair for the next 12 months. This last winter, I kind of expressed some interest in wanting to possibly take a break. And I've talked to a few people on the committee, and we kind of discussed maybe a couple names that have come up and whatnot. And there's a couple things, well, there's a couple ways to do this. First of all, I know this is probably the most awkward thing, hands down, that I have to deal with all year. Especially now, because you got, new people to the committee who probably know none of us, except for the very first time you're meeting. And now you're supposed to, raise your hand and vote for somebody. So I always think this is the most awkward thing. There's a couple ways we can go about it. Traditional way where we just kind of make nominations and seconds and vote, or we can have maybe a little more roundtable discussion about what people are interested in. And just to be straightforward, when asking a couple people out there, Shelley's name came up as somebody who they thought might be a good person to take over the chair. She mentioned she had interest as long as she had support with that. And I mentioned that I would be interested in co-chairing with that. And in addition, Chris Barney this last year has also mentioned that he would be interested in wanting to learn how to chair and take on that role. And so I suggested that Chris has had some time to kind of watch and see my style of doing things, and is going to maybe see a new person's way of doing things. And when that opportunity came up, that maybe he would be able to chair that meeting when Shelley wasn't there, and hopefully I'd still be there as a co-chair. So I wanted to do more of a roundtable discussion this time instead of something so awkward and whatnot. Is there anybody that has a super strong interest in wanting to chair or co-chair? And I'm sorry, I can't see everybody.
Oh, it's not. Here. Sorry about that. Okay, so, but this is not the screen that's showing up on your screen?
Now I see Dan, and now I see Troutdale. Here, I'll turn it.
I think there might have been an update to Zoom because I'm not currently share screening anything. So I'm not 100% sure why it would be doing that. I can see everyone on mine. I guess I can share my screen of everyone. That might work. We'll try that. Because I did see before this that there was a.
Here, let me see if Chris can trace it.
Okay, for now oh, no, I don't think that'll work because then everyone goes away. Unless, no. That's very strange. Yeah, I'm not sure why.
We can see you all from this end.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can just turn around. That's what it was. That button right there goes between the view you're wrong, you can speak with you in gallery where you can sit down.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Okay. This one says gallery view.
So just so you all know, this is Tim Eric here. This will be my last meeting. So, and during the community comment time, I'd like to read a little letter that I've written, that letter of resignation. So that's coming up. So I can't chair or vice chair, but you got many capable people here. And for those of you new folks, this is such a good group. You're going to really enjoy this. A lot of good work being done for the city, for the community. So welcome. Good times ahead.
Let's see, Alexander, do you have any comments?
Strangely, no. I am not interested, but I will support the chair as I supported you, and I think you've been a great chair.
Thank you very much. Any comments or thoughts? And if not, if somebody wants to make a motion to nominate Shelley as chair, myself as co.
Yeah, I nominate Shelley. Tim Eric here. I nominate Shelley as chair.
You want to do it all in one shot, Tim? Just one vote.
And nominate Chris Barney as vice chair.
All right, I'll second that. Okay, all in favor?
Can we have other recommendations?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, I'd like to nominate Shelley as chair, and I would like to have Will as co-chair. And I also agree that I would also like Will to assist Chris in co-chairing a few times, at least a year, to prepare him if he is wanting to take on full co-chair at a later time. And the reason I'm wanting this is Will has been quite articulate at representing and have sharing this responsibility with the committee. I believe a lot of us have. He's brought a lot to the table, and I don't want to lose that. And the idea of him assisting Shelley, and I just think that's a really good transition. So that is my recommendation.
A question, Diane. So are you proposing? Well, we need a. I'll second that motion so we can discuss it. And so a comment on that motion. So you're proposing Shelley's chair, Will and Chris being co-chairs?
Will being the dominant co-chair, and then but also with him him assisting Chris and working together in co-chairing meetings. And also hopefully that Will would have discussions with Chris and discuss some of the topics to just give perspective as to the way the holistic way that I feel that Will looks at each subject.
So you're suggesting Will be co-chair, not vice chair?
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Okay, Shelley number one, Will number two, whatever that means, and then with Will assist that Chris also.
Mentoring Chris.
Yeah, mentoring Chris.
Yeah, so, all right, I'll second that then. And I like that a lot. I'll withdraw my other motion.
Okay, any other thoughts or discussions? Comments at all? Shelley, what do you think?
I think that it would be fine. I definitely will need your support as I'm so new at this process, but
Absolutely. It could be fun.
great.
Chris, how do you feel?
Sorry, Chris, I can't hear you. Are you willing to have your name put forward as being co-vice chair? Will, are you willing to have that?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I put Chris on the spot. He mentioned that to me previously in the year. I still wanted to include him on that. So I'm sorry if I put you under the pressure. Chris.
Okay.
What to say on that? Do you want to still work on that path and make sure meeting here and there? If you feel comfortable for it. If not, I don't want to put any pressure on you.
Would like to learn that, I guess maybe I'm just going.
Okay. Well, let's just do for now. So we'll have a discussion later. Let's just do maybe chair and co-chair, or chair and vice chair for now, and then we'll have a discussion later. That sounds good.
And am I coming through okay? Can you guys hear me at all? Yeah. So the motion is for Shelley to be chair and for us to have co-vice chairs, Will and Chris. That's my understanding. Is that correct?
I believe it was Shelley as chair, myself as vice, and then Chris in a mentorship position. And I think we're waiting to see if Chris was interested in that or not. And if I put him under the gun, I apologize for that. So maybe if Chris doesn't have anything at this point to say, we can have a discussion later, and then maybe do that mentorship part later. Let's go ahead and give him another quick sec, and then maybe we'll remove that last part if we need to.
No, I think I'll agree to that.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts or comments? All right. So the motion has been put forward to have Shelley as our chair and myself as vice chair with Chris in a mentorship for that. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. All right. Is there any opposition? All right. Seeing none, I will hand it over to Shelley and congratulate her on chair. That was yours.
Thank you. I want to just reiterate Will's welcome to the new members, Twyla and Nicole and Amasa. Did I say that right? Amasa?
Amasa.
Gotcha.
It's okay. I really don't mind if it's mispronounced.
All right. So the next agenda item is review and approval of the June 2nd, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Do any committee members have any corrections?
I did have a couple. I wanted to make note though and see if this is something that we could actually get this fixed on the website. Is when you go to listen to the audio, at least for this particular set of minutes, you have to have a passcode in order to get it. In order to get the passcode, you have to like dig through several other pages, and in the middle to get it, to then copy it, go back and get the passcode to view it.
Where are
So,
you accessing the minutes from?
the City Troutdale website. So what I do is I go to the City Troutdale website, go to the business, whatnot, go to agendas and minutes, scroll down to the June 2nd one or whatever, June 2nd, I believe. Click on that and ask for a passcode.
Right.
It's not in there. You have to go over to view details or view the packet.
Yeah,
And then in the packet, you can find about halfway down on the first page, a passcode that I copied and pasted the second time. You would first use the Zoom password. So anyway,
yeah.
I'm going to get at is it's super complicated. Is there a way that we can pass along a note to whoever's in charge of that to super simplify and then the public have access to that?
Yeah, I can see if we can remove the password. Also, though, if you go to the meeting page where, like, how each meeting has its own page where it has the Zoom link and the packet and the agenda, it has the link to the audio and the password on the same page, so you can get to both from there. But that's definitely confusing if you're trying to get through the other way. So we can try to make that more clear or see if the password can be removed. But otherwise, I'd recommend going the other way so it's all on one page.
Gotcha.
This is Shelley. I don't have a correction, but I do have a clarification. On page 6, where it says Ms. Reynolds said her husband owns drones and they do not have serial numbers because their smaller ones are considered to be toys. I want to add in there, I did a little bit of research and it's actually the weight of the drone and not the size of the drone that determines whether or not it's required to be registered.
So I wrote there at the end, the weight of the drone determines if it needs to be registered with that word. Yep.
On page 3, second paragraph from the bottom, it starts with Mr. Schwab. And if you notice in the middle there, it says FCC. Everywhere else it references FAA. I went back and listened to it. He actually technically doesn't say any of that, but in general, that's what he's talking about.
Okay, that's a.
On page 4, one where it starts with chair nights. I know somebody mentioned at some point that they had experience with their boys in the park with the drones, but it wasn't me. So maybe we scratched that line. He's also had some experience with drones and his own boys in the park. And then one more. Oh, okay. On page 6 as well, at the bottom. The word that was used was survey drones, not surveillance drones. And it was in reference to the city park, having the drones go out and measure like how many acres of trees versus grass versus riparian zone, and not surveillance on the law enforcement. I think that was all I had.
Any other corrections? And we have a motion to accept minutes as corrected.
I so move.
I'll second.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Oh.
All in favor? Opposed? Can't see behind me.
Yeah.
I think the motion carries. All right. Before we move on to the next discussion item, can I have our guests in the room here introduce themselves?
Oh, well, good evening, everybody. My name is Alex Lopez. I'm a new assistant planner here for the city. Just moved here from Albuquerque, New Mexico. and super excited to be here and to be working with all of you guys. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Troutdale.
Truly.
Hi there. I'm Glenn White. I missed that opportunity when you invited council to your meeting. So I was looking for an interesting topic. I thought tonight qualified. So I just wanted to meet the new members. I think I know a lot of the members and it's part of the group that interviewed you as well. So that's all I have. That's why I'm here tonight.
I heard you were going to be a cowboy soon.
Yeah. My daughter is getting a miniature Jersey cow, so I'll be the transporting it. Told her I could fix the tractor, but I don't know anything about cows or horses or any of that. But it'll be fun. It's like part pet, part milk. So I'll have to have a good mocha with some fresh cream. Looking forward to that.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome. So, comments from the public. Do you want to do that now? Because our 2 o'clock
Yeah,
isn't there yet.
That's what we also go to A and B. And then, but yeah, we do, it looks like we do have a few members in the audience, so welcome them and see if there's any comments from the public and that'd be a good one.
Yeah, is this public comment time? Do we normally start with public comment opportunity?
Yes, I think we're going to take this opportunity to have public comment.
And I'd like to be recognized, before, sometime during this period.
Consider yourself recognized, Tim.
All right, thank you very much, Tim here. And Amber, I just sent you a copy of my letter, and I don't know if it, you feel free to put that up if you want, make it easier for people to follow along. But I'd just like to read my letter of farewell and wishing you well, and a few suggestions as well. So here it is, August 4, 2021. Mayor Lauer, City Councilor, City Manager Young, City Finance Director Mueller. It's been an honor serving on the Citizen Advisory Committee and the City Budget Committee over the last few years. It has been both a pleasure and a lot of hard work. This city is blessed by having dedicated councilors, committee members, and city employees working together to help make our community thrive. In any organization, there is usually room for improvement. And even though we are an exceptional group, we're not an exception to the rule. Regarding city committees, in order for city committees to function effectively and for committee members individually and collectively to receive respectful consideration of their endeavors, it is important that it be standard practice for formal committee recommendations to the council to be presented to the council while in session. Whether or not the councilors ultimately agree with or support those recommendations is certainly their prerogative, directed by their own experience, conscience, and insight. Whether or not city councilors, committee members, or city employees agree with one another, it is important that differing perspectives be heard and given consideration in the public forum. In regard to finances, the city appears to be in a good financial situation at this time. And that is saying a lot considering what our society has been through in the last few years. Special thanks and appreciation should be extended to our city manager, finance director, and city employees for their continuing efforts to help assure this trend. Nonetheless, in order to provide proper fiscal oversight and to help make sure stable financial management continues, it is imperative that the City Council and Finance Committee undertake steps to allow for responsible analysis of the budget process. Number one, at the end of every fiscal year, the Budget Committee should be presented with a clear statement of summary expenses that is directly comparable to the previously approved budget for that year. Effective oversight is almost impossible without this information. Number two, The City Council, Budget Committee, or subcommittee of either, as allowed by law, should undertake the task of carefully analyzing payroll, the collective bargaining process, and verifying and approving the salaries of non-collective bargained employees. A significant part of this is clarifying the actual salary figures for contracted workers. The salary expense of quite a number of our employees is divided between different accounts with no clear declaration of the total individual salary included in the budget materials. Without this kind of reporting clarity, things like the following can take place. According to the original proposed budgets over the last 2 years, while in the midst of what most believe has been a pandemic-related economic downturn, and while many of the residents of this fair city have been experiencing significant financial challenges, quite a number of our highest paid city employees received significant pay increases. As far as I can tell, some for 1 year, some for the other year, and some for both years. Was giving pay increases, especially during the recent economic downturn, the appropriate or responsible thing to do? Maybe it was, and that is the point. Without proper citizen oversight and analysis, it is exceedingly difficult to confirm the appropriateness of our actions in this regard. Having said all this, I have the deepest respect for all those giving so freely of their time and efforts to serve on committees, on the city council, and for all those residents and city employees alike who are so actively involved in helping this city not only function, but thrive. And that is why it is with some regret I now tell you I've accepted employment in another state, will be moving out of the area, and as a result hereby tender my resignation from the Troutdale Citizens Advisory Committee and the Budget Committee. Thank you for your time and consideration and for hearing me out. I hope my questions and insights have encouraged careful future analysis. I wish all the best for the residents of this beautiful city and for each and every one of you. Sincerely, me, Dr. Tim Eric. Hey, thank you all very much for hearing me out. And some of you have been on the committee a while will understand, what I was referring to in some of those suggestions. And I'm happy, now or later on to discuss or take questions on this as well. But thanks again. It's been a privilege serving with you all.
Thank you for your service, Tim.
You're welcome.
Any other members of the public care to comment? Councilmember Bland.
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome the new members. Sorry to hear you're leaving, Tim. And a lot of times I show up here and I'm just kind of listening in to what you guys are doing so that when stuff gets to the council, I have a better idea of what some of the background discussion was about. But welcome to all the new folks. Sorry to see you leave again, Tim.
Thank you.
Paul? All right, shall we move on to the next agenda item? First Friday presents.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and take that away. It should be a relatively quick agenda item. As you all are probably aware, we've had a couple really successful First Fridays. There's another one this upcoming Friday. And one of you all, I believe it was Heidi, reached out to me and was inquiring about, the CAC having some kind of booth at a First Friday event. As far as I know, that hasn't been followed through with yet, but I wanted to see if you all were interested, and if so, I have the contact person and can let you know a little bit about the rules to make sure that you're in line with city committees. So yeah, I just want to put that out there and see if you all were interested in that. For the August First Friday, this Friday would be too soon, but certainly for the September or October First Friday events, that would work.
This is Shelley. Did Heidi give you any idea about what CAC's purpose for having a booth would be? Will it be to discuss CAC and?
Yeah, she
Future
didn't say
members.
specifically. My understanding would then be kind of, an opportunity for outreach. And to, talk to people about the CAC, for future recruitments, that sort of thing, but she didn't provide a lot of details on it.
I know previously when we had done it, we were gathering information as well through a survey that we were doing. And then also we had kind of a fun booth for toys and whatnot for the kids to play, and then like giveaways and so on. So it was kind of an outreach as like, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do, kind of helping to just have a presence, and also helps with recruiting too, that people know about it. I guess my question would be if that was something that we as a group wanted to do, who would be interested in who would be interested in kind of taking that lead on, and what would we do?
This is Diane speaking. I haven't looked at my calendar. I know like this month we're having a really nice concert for the Troutdale Historic Society for First Friday. That's supposed to coincide with downtown, so people can meander back and forth. Really good band. And but I would recommend that it is a good idea to show presence and maybe do something fun like have a raffle off one of our Troutdale t-shirts, do something fun like that too, so that there might be a prize too, but just be informative. The children's section of the First Friday here, it's a huge success. My grandchildren went to that, but I think they're also expanding that, so they are doing something for the kids. Not to say that doing another thing for the kids isn't appreciated and be fun as well. So it is a good opportunity. Just I don't know about my schedule yet, right?
This is Shelley. I actually would also support that idea and be happy to volunteer. I don't know about taking the lead on it, just because I'm not terribly creative with those kind of ideas. Maybe Heidi would be interested in doing that. But I'd certainly volunteer my time.
Yeah, I think I would also be willing to come and hang out at the booth and do maybe a couple, set up, take down, and hang out sort of stuff, and be participating. Again, I wouldn't have the time right now to be able to lead it either, to lead the charge on that. We'd be happy to be on the committee or team that was working on that project too.
I also would be happy to participate in that. I don't think I'm ready to lead it yet, but we've been down there all the Fridays, and it's a great opportunity to reach out.
I would be happy to help out as well, but each first Friday presents different logistics for me, so it'd have to be a Friday by Friday basis. I mean, I could tell you early on so that you wouldn't find out at 5:45, but I won't know until we get closer to those Fridays.
Do we have any volunteers to lead the booth idea? I'm happy to reach out to Heidi. Maybe Alexander could reach out to Heidi.
I might be able to do that. She's unavailable right now, but I'll do that.
Maybe I'll make a suggestion that we maybe have you reach out to Heidi and chat and see, and if there's interest there, and maybe bring this back to the September meeting for potentially for an October booth.
Sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would like to volunteer in October as well, but again, not take the lead, but and that could, maybe some people could do September, some people could do October or whatnot.
Thank you. Any further comment on First Friday and CAC having a booth? Right. Moving on to upcoming rent burden meeting.
Yes. All right, so as previous or current members who have been previous members as well are familiar with, each year since 2018 or 2019, the city of Troutdale has hosted a rent burden meeting. It's required by the state. So that time is coming up again, and we're actually planning on having the CAC September meeting be the rent burden meeting this year. Previously, we've done it in December, but around the holidays and being cold outside, it can be harder to get the turnout for that. So we're hoping doing it around September, people might be able to be more involved. For those of you that this will be your first one and are unfamiliar, I do have a few slides to share with you all, just about what it is and why we do it. So I'll go ahead and share those on my screen. Let's see. All right, that was like a slideshow. Yeah, great. Okay, so first, why do we host this? So House Bill 4006, which was passed by the Oregon State Legislature in 2018, requires that all cities that are categorized as severely rent burdened host a rent burden meeting for their community. It increases local awareness of the causes and potential solutions. So we have a community meeting to discuss the issue. It encourages local jurisdictions to take steps and for the community, for them to communicate what support they need to address those issues. In the past, the rent burden meeting led to the city seeking a housing needs analysis, so they had a better picture of what type of housing was needed, what type of housing we already had, and to get a really full picture of that. The housing needs analysis has recently been adopted, which is great, and at some point a housing production strategy will also be adopted, but not quite yet. So this bill also required the collecting of housing related information to better understand effectiveness of different solutions. It provided technical assistance grants to cities, and it also requires cities to report on their housing production. If the term rent burdened is unfamiliar, being rent burdened is when 30% or more of your income is spent on rent. It's a nationally accepted standard. Slightly over 53% of renters in Troutdale right now are spending 30% or more of their income on rent. So half of Troutdale renters do experience some kind of rent burden. Severely rent burdened is when 50% or more of their income is spent on rent. Right now, based on the most recent data we have, about 26% of renters are severely rent burdened. And this is actually down. So it was 34% in 2020, and then a little under 33%, and then 31% in previous years. So that is good news. Statistics did show that the number of renters did also decrease. So we're not sure how all those things, all those factors played together, but 26 is certainly better than 34. So we're glad to see it's going down. So because over 25% of renter households pay more than half of their monthly income on rent, the city is considered severely rent burdened by the state, which is why we have to host the meeting. And then a little bit of a preview on what we'll cover. There will be some similarities with past meetings because there are certain things per state law that we are required to cover, such as the causes and consequences of severe rent burdens, some of the barriers to why it's difficult to do, and then possible solutions to reduce the number of rent burdened households. We also will cover similar things that I had today for those that aren't in the room now. So House Bill 4006, the definition, as well as more information on Troutdale's demographics and rental profile here. Also give a progress update, any citizen feedback we have, and any impacts from COVID-19 that we're able to gather for you all. So that's just a little bit of an overview of what's to come. We are exploring some different venues potentially for the meeting. I know we've hosted it here previously, and I think last year we had to do it all virtually. But we're looking into some other options. We also might have some additional speakers who can provide kind of a different perspective on the issue. So we're trying to find ways to mix it up a little bit so for those of you that have been to previous rent burdens, it's not just, the same exact thing every time. So yeah, does anybody have any questions on that?
This is Diane. Are we mandated to make adjustments to the city of Troutdale based upon the information that is gleaned from the rent burden meetings?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Let's see. Okay, maybe you can answer this question. What was the percentage again that you said put us in the category that we are severely rent burdened?
Yeah, so it's 26% in Troutdale on the most recent statistics we got, and any city 25% or more is required to host a rent burden meeting.
And that 26%, is that one individual having to pay? So are they looking at the households as one individual person bringing in income, or is it dual income?
It's based on household income.
It's based on household
Yeah,
income?
so if
Okay.
it's, if one person is the household or 5 people are the household, it's just done by household.
Okay, that suffices. Thank you.
I guess my other question is the usual, what is promotion and advertising looking like?
Yeah, I've already ordered our card stock so that we can send out our annual postcards. Those go to all the multifamily households that we have in Troutdale, because we have that data. I know in the past there's been some questions why those don't go to like duplexes and other types of rentals. And unfortunately, we just don't have the data on like which houses are rentals or not. So that's not a direct outreach we're able to do. Certainly social media as always. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if there will be an article on the Champion about it, or if the Champion will be out in time. Because the next one might be coming out after September, the beginning of September, I'm not sure. So if you all have other ideas, we are always open to hearing them.
I remember an idea came up previously as potentially on that card that's being sent out to have a multilingual opportunity to, maybe it doesn't have to be the whole thing in all the different languages, but I know if I get something from like Mahoma County or state of Oregon, there's always those things at the bottom in all the different languages. I don't know if there's something like that, or like, here's a link to be able to go and read this in whatever language. I don't know how it works, but
yeah, definitely. That's a really good suggestion. Thanks for reminding me of that.
is there anything that we need to do for that meeting?
Spreading the word is always good. I know something we've previously talked about is, people not always being familiar with the topic, or thinking, maybe it doesn't apply to them, or that maybe nothing really comes from these meetings. But the information that we gather and the data and the feedback from citizens, people experiencing this is information that we bring to planning commissioners and to council to be able to, hopefully find solutions to these issues at some point in time. So, just making sure people are aware of why we're doing it and why it's important is helpful to get that word out.
Any other comment on the upcoming rent burden meeting? All right. Right. I think Rick Stevens is here. to talk about the drone operating standards.
Hello, everyone. I wish I'd seen the minutes from your previous meeting. You had quite a lively discussion on drones. I'm an aviation and land planning consultant, and I teach drone courses for several colleges and universities. Because of, I think, some complexities of this, I made a few slides. So please bear with me, and I want to share with you a tiny bit of PowerPoint poisoning. So I apologize, but I think they'll help us see and understand better with the maps of the area. So I put this together also so that staff would have this as a reference for future questions, because there are some, there are some notations on some of the laws. So I've got some. Are you seeing a rather complex map at the moment?
Yes, there, oh, yeah, yep, we did.
I hope so. So this is an aeronautical chart of the area. It's centered on Portland Troutdale Airport, and it shows sort of the FAA's efforts to regulate airspace in this area. The FAA is the sole agency that can regulate airspace. That being said, every state in the US is also passing regulations on national airspace. But in theory and hopefully in practice in the future, only the Federal Aviation Administration can actually regulate airspace. And this is showing that the adjacent Portland is Class Charlie airspace, highly regulated because of the amount of regional, national, and international traffic. And then the blue dashed circle is Class D Delta airspace around Portland Troutdale. Sorry for the geeky stuff, but it'll make sense, I think, in just a moment. So this is the actual law regarding the Class D airspace. And to just summarize it simply, you have to have a commercial waiver, a certification and waiver to fly in this airspace. No recreational hobby activities are allowed in Class D airspace. They're not even able to apply for a waiver. So I think this, you're going to see this as a game changer in terms of your interest about regulating parks. The airspace for Class D Delta is 5 miles distant from the center of the airport. So it clearly encompasses all of the city of Troutdale. And within this airspace, only commercial pilots, certified pilots, may apply for a waiver, and waivers are granted or denied based on proximity to the airport and other elements considering the time of day and so on. So this is these maps are all available online. They're all free and accessible. The first one was called Sky Vector, shows the entire aeronautical chart for the US. This is called Before You Fly. It's for drone pilots, but available to the public. And it shows areas that are restricted or able to fly. This light greenish blue color means everything within that is restricted. You can only fly in that area if you have a commercial operator's license and a waiver. So depending on personal positions about drone flying for recreation, it's either good or bad news. But the bottom line is recreational pilots are not allowed to fly in the city of Troutdale, period. These are 3 notes I made to try to just simplify what the overall impact of these 2 areas are. First of all, as I just said, Class D airspace around Portland Troutdale Airport is not open for recreational pilots. So I know there was been discussion of flying in some parks in the city. That's simply illegal. But as with most of the United States, people are either unaware of these regulations or choose to ignore them. The second bullet point there is that even a pilot with a license must have Federal Aviation Administration approval to fly in this airspace. So the 3 forms of documents that are required to be on the pilot's person are the registration for the drone. And there was a question, I think, last time about if drones have to have numbers. And yes, all drones, even recreational drones, must be registered and have a number clearly visible on the drone itself. The pilot certificate and the actual FAA waiver. So all three of those documents are required to fly anywhere in the city of Troutdale. And lastly, which you'll see with the next slide, is areas parallel to the runway, about a mile south of the runway, aren't even accessible for a waiver. So this is a map that shows that the areas where waivers can be achieved. I've added a Troutdale City overlay. You see a red airplane symbol at the center of the runway. And those grids show the waiver altitudes that can be applied for. So you see right at the center of the airport, both about a mile above and a mile below, the FAA will not even grant a waiver to fly there. It's too close to the airport. They're afraid about drones having flyaways or other kinds of issues. So they won't even grant a waiver for a licensed pilot to fly in about the north half of the city of Troutdale. In the southern half, you can see the grids further away from the airport. You can get a waiver to fly at up to 200 feet above the ground level. And at the very southern end of the city, you can apply for a waiver to fly up to 300 feet above the ground. So I knew that was going to be less than 5 minutes, and I imagine you might have a lot of questions. But again, it's pretty straightforward what the regulations are for the city. They're pretty black and white, and they're quite prohibitive for both certified and recreational remote pilots. So I'm yours to answer any questions you might have.
I have a question. This is Diane. What is the penalty for flying without the proper waiver in Troutdale currently?
So I commend you all for wearing masks, but I'm having a real hard time hearing. Could you maybe speak a little louder, maybe?
What is the current penalty?
Oh, the penalties. Yeah, so that's fairly complex. It depends on how many violations there are. So here are the violations I think might occur. As I said, you have to have all three of those documents. Not having a drone registered by itself carries penalties above $10,000. Just that single infraction has already, by federal law, rather severe penalties. And I don't have the exact numbers with me, but it's over $10,000. If there is an accident or some kind of an incident, these penalties go up higher and can even include criminal penalties. So these are all civil, but if an accident occurs with an unregistered drone, the remote pilot is liable for criminal penalties, including jail time. So that's pretty severe. That's only one of the three documents that's often not in possession of recreational pilots. If the person is not a certified remote pilot, there are additional penalties, and of course, not having an FAA waiver, even higher. So the other thing that makes this a little more complex is liability issues with insurance. Most homeowner insurance does not include personal drones, so people flying drones are typically uninsured unless they're commercial pilots doing projects where they have either per flight insurance or annual or monthly subscription insurance. Sorry, it was a complex answer. It is really it's not a simple answer, but in general, it's thousands of dollars. And if an accident or an injury is associated with it, it can include jail time.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I just didn't know. I'm a citizen and I just didn't know what also what percentage of our citizenry may know that there could be some hefty penalties for flying a drone without the proper waivers.
I'm so sorry.
Rick?
Yeah. Yeah, Tim, I can hear you clearly, and Alexander, it's with the mask, something, I put headphones on, but I'm still having trouble hearing through that.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Tim Eric here. And my internet gave out partway through your presentation, so you may have answered this already, but it appears to me that many of the people out there just flying drones in the park for fun are technically in violation and could receive very hefty penalties. Would that be a fair assessment?
Well, so the first half of that is, yes, there's, I'm an advocate for drones. First, I should say that's very clear. I'm an advocate, so I know many people are opposed for various reasons. I'm a strong advocate for emergency services, for infrastructure services, in the near future for many other kinds of commercial activities. But in this particular case, the law is very clear. There is no recreational ability to fly in the city of Troutdale. It is simply prohibited. Now, on the second part of that about in law enforcement, the FAA does not actively, they don't send out the FAA air wardens or something. They rely on local government to have law enforcement enforce violations. And as you know, police and sheriffs are really reluctant to also be the air police. So they really only respond to complaints. But I think one thing that the city might do to sort of get ahead of the curve on this is post no drone zone fly posters, or no drone zone signs, and then just a note below that referencing, if you want to have a reference, you could reference, this is section 6, 14 CFR part 107, that drones aren't allowed. I mean, and it isn't like the city's the bad guy. I mean, the city would just be enforcing federal regulations. Did I answer your question, or?
Thank you, very helpful, yes, thank you.
Rick, this is Shelley. I'm wondering if we could ask you to send your PowerPoint presentation to Amber so that.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Right. Afterwards, I'll send a PDF to Amber immediately.
Thank you.
Mr. Stevens, thank you for being here tonight. This is Will Knight. How do these regulations apply to our law enforcement, emergency services, or let's say our parks department? You might want to use it for surveying property. The same rules apply, or the special circumstances where different people?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the same rules apply. You would need to have those 3 IDs, those 3 documents, including approval by the FAA with a waiver that can be applied for any services with the city's emergency services or parks department. As a side note, I actually volunteered to do drone work for the city earlier this year in conjunction with teaching at University of Oregon. And we hadn't looked into that at this time. So I would have to do the same thing. I would have to request a waiver, and it would have to comport to only the southern half of the city at those altitudes that are permitted. Now, you brought the idea of emergency services, which is a little different spin on this. If your fire, paramedic, and police wanted to apply for a disaster use, there's a very different process, and they should research that and be aware of that. And by the way, I'll offer to do this as well. I'll send information to Amber. I'd be glad to, at no charge, of course, work with your police department if they're interested in drone training. I do a lot of training for different emergency services throughout our region, and I just finished a white paper on this for FEMA and also for not the BLM, USGS service. So yeah, that's a much more complex topic. But again, if there was an emergency or disaster, the Troutdale Airport also goes under a different kind of FEMA jurisdiction. And then all of that work is combined with the emergency response framework for our national management system for emergencies. So yeah, that would be something that the city's police and fire would have to do some research on in coordination, primarily with FEMA. I'll send that to Amber as well. I'll send the FEMA coordination effort that's going on right now for emergency services. I think it would be well for the city of Troutdale to get involved and be ready for that, because it could be any kind of an emergency. It could be flooding, extreme heat, maybe a winter with an extreme cold spell where you might want drone operations to do emergency assessment or emergency coordination. And if the city has staff that have those capabilities, you're just that further ahead of the curve. I know the city did a really admirable recent assessment of, I think, a GIS program with the University of Oregon to establish urban resiliency for the city. You can tell I teach, huh? I can't give a simple answer.
Well, thank you for the answer, and thank you for your information tonight. I think it's pretty clear the answer to what it is, and yeah, thank you for answering our questions and for that generous offer as well on that disaster preparedness, emergency preparedness.
I'll bombard Amber with some things. By the way, I know Amber also from school.
He's one of my professors at U of L.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing this valuable information.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys another time, I guess. Bye-bye.
Fantastic. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, on to staff communication.
Sure. All right, let me get my list pulled up here. It's fairly short tonight, but I got a couple things for you all. Let's see. So first, we are anticipating a few open houses to be held this fall for the Parks Master Plan, which Shelley, you might have heard about, as well as funding projects with the Metro Parks Bond and figuring out, what type of projects to go forward with that. They might be held in conjunction with each other, or they might be separate. We're still kind of working out the details on that. But they're likely to be scheduled in early October and potentially at the elementary school. So something to keep an eye out for. Other than that, as you heard earlier, we've hired Alex, who introduced himself as our new assistant planner. We're very excited to have him. He's been here a week so far and it's going great. And then kind of with that news, so I actually am going back to school this fall. I'm going to be getting my master's in urban and regional planning at PSU. It's actually the same program that Heidi's in, so I'm kind of bummed she's not here today, so I could tell her. But yeah, I'll still be at the city. I'm taking a reduced role to a planning technician level, so I'll just be working part-time. So you'll still probably get a lot of communication with me. I'll probably still be putting your packets together and emailing you all. So I'm not disappearing or anything. I might even be here from at meetings from time to time, but we will be transitioning Alex to being the primary staff liaison for you all. I really enjoyed getting to work with you all. It's been really fun, and I'm glad I don't have to fully leave, and I'm still going to get to stay on with the city while I go back to school. So that's all I have for staff communications.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
On pursuing your master's.
We will miss you though.
I'll still be around.
Quite a couple questions on some updates. Any updates on like the Multnomah County site building or anything like that?
We haven't gotten any like applications in or anything yet. I think they might have hired like either their engineering or architecture firm, but we haven't gotten any direct updates on the project yet.
How about the food truck pod?
Under construction, yeah. I'm not sure if all of their permits have been issued yet, but you know, as you can see, they're already doing some site work, so some of the permits have been issued, and yeah, we're excited. It's well underway.
This is Shelley. Is there any deadline for or anticipated finish date for that?
I'm not sure what it is. I can ask around and see if we have one, and send that back to you all, but I'm not sure if they have one at this point.
I read, and I don't remember where, it could have been in a journal or on a bathroom wall, it said November.
Okay, yeah, that could be accurate.
A couple follow-ups from last month. You mentioned the final presentation for the PSU capstone class. Was there any suggestion that came out of that, or is there any actions being done, or is that a, hey, let's help this class out to do a project? So,
Yeah, so I know they did either come to a city council session, or it might have been before a city council meeting, and they presented a lot of the findings and reports and how they had worked with the city. I'm not sure at this point like which things we're moving forward with, but you know, a lot of the ideas were things that can be incorporated into like as we move forward, you know, like some of the more general things on like transportation, that's easy as you know we're moving forward with projects to incorporate into it. There was a lot of classes and I wasn't involved with all of them, so I'm not sure what the status is of all of them, but we just recently, like within the last month or two, got all the reports back, so it's still pretty early, but we're really excited with all of the input that we got and hope to be able to move forward with some of those at least.
thank you.
Moving on to committee member comments. Just start at the top. Will?
Yeah, first off, thank you for accepting the leadership role, and I'm excited for you. I want to also welcome Alex to the team, and hope you had a good time tonight. I look forward to working with you. Thank you, Amber, for all of your hard work. It's been awesome. What has it been, like a year and a half-ish?
Yeah, about there.
Congratulations on pursuing your master's.
Thank you.
And whatnot. Also, thank you to Tim, and bon voyage, or such say, until we see you again. And then one last thing I thought was interesting. I know we've been inviting in the Monroe County Sheriffs for quite some time, and one of the things that we kept bringing up is, hey, is there a way to get like a map with the crime statistics in the hotspot? They've recently added that in the last like couple weeks, and it's super cool to see. You can go down to your neighborhood and see how many different crimes happen in your neighborhood, like down to the little different blocks of the city. And you can see what's happened and kind of where some hot spots in the city are, if that's something you're interested in. And I was happy to find out that like right here on the hill back here is one of the safest spots in the entire like Gresham, Troutdale, Village area right behind us here. So yeah, something interesting to check out.
Will, where is that? Where do we find that?
Multnomah County's website. What I can do is when I get a second here, I'll email Amber a link, or I'll find one of our emails and I'll send that back. But you can drill down to whatever area you want, click on and highlight your little neighborhood. It'll pull up a timeline. You can search a timeline, whether you want this month, a year, or any timeline. It'll populate all that information and kind of give you what happened and where in your neighborhood it happened. So it's very informative and very good information, something we've been asking for a lot of years. So happy to see that.
Tim, do you have any final comments as a committee member?
Yes, if you're ever out in Wisconsin, look me up. And it's been a pleasure. Amber, congratulations. And we'll be moving on together here, I guess. And welcome to all you new folks. Just a couple quick comments kind of related to my resignation letter and some points I made there. And this committee, one of our responsibilities is to kind of, help the city council be aware of things and be responsible, different levels of our government and community. Those of you who've been on a while remember that we passed a couple of recommendations for the city council, and have met with little different response on things. The whole voting issue, some in this committee were not we're not real. I'm not sure what the word is, but appreciative of how the majority opinion was responded to. But more recently, we passed a recommendation that the budget committee meet at least 2 times, have at least 2 public meetings before voting. And when I went to the one budget committee that was scheduled, I discovered that that recommendation that we had passed in this committee was not scheduled to be shared at all on the budget committee. And that was very, very disappointing. And so I went ahead and shared it, orally. Some people had seen it, but there was no plan to share it. And so I think we need to, and this, I'm sharing this mainly, partly for city council members who are here to help, keep us all responsible. And there's a reason why we have committees like this, so that the council members and community can hear these things, even if we don't agree. So just, part of our responsibility is helping everybody else be responsible as well. And then in regard to finances, every year budget is approved, but there is, as far as I can tell, never a corresponding description at the end of the year as to how we dealt with that budget, that approved budget, with the same categories and whether we were over or under. I haven't seen any evidence of that ever, and that is quite disturbing. So it seems to have worked. We seem to be okay position, but to be to have proper fiscal oversight, this has to happen at some time. And unless we stand up and say, hey, more information is necessary to make sure there's not a problem later on. Thankfully, there doesn't seem to have been one so far. I don't know that it will take place. And finally, with salaries of employees, sometimes it's a little awkward and such, but government workers, they work for us, and there should be it should be clear as to how much is being paid to our employees. That has not been at all clear in the past. In fact, no one on the budget committee knew how many non-collective bargain employees we had. Those are our highest paid employees, contract employees, and no one was able to tell me. They had to look it up, and I didn't know. No one on budget committee knew. This is some basic information for proper fiscal oversight that just hasn't been happening. And we've been fortunate. We've gotten through this without this, but we don't want a huge problem later on. And so taking these steps, I think, would be the responsible thing to do. So I'm going to leave that in your court, committee members, to follow up and make sure that some of this is done. And the end result is an even stronger, more responsible, and well-run city in the future. And so that's why you're serving here. Thank you for your service and your commitment to helping make things continue well and be even better in the future. But really, this is a great group. Those of you who are new, you're going to enjoy this, and you get to know your folks on the committee, and you'll be blessed as a result of it, and it'll be a blessing to the city and encouragement to the city. So take care. God bless everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Alexander?
Well, I just want to add my thanks to the people who worked and are leaving, and to the new people. Thanks for joining. It's very hard to squeeze another minute out of anyone's schedule, but I appreciate that you've done that. I think that Rick's discussion was very informative for me, because I had no idea that the airport was the controlling factor. And it's very good to know that it's here, and that I won't get hit in the face with a drone as I go out to get the mail. So that's great. And thank you. I hope you all have a great month. We will see you on Friday, probably, the first Friday. Amber, thank you so much. I hope you love the program as much as Heidi has loved it. It's been challenging for her, but she loves it. So good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Alexander. Amasa? Do you have any comments?
I just wanted to say thank you for being so welcoming. It's look forward to the year ahead, and really interested in, it seems like a fun group, informative, and just excited to be part of it.
Nicole?
Yeah, that should be on. Just wanted to kind of reiterate what Alice said, really excited to be here, and be kind of quiet tonight, just kind of absorbing everything. It's different, but I'm excited to learn about this process, and I'm sure by the end of the year, you'll be wishing I was still quiet now.
Welcome. Chris?
Well, I think I'll just say it's good to meet those of you that are new, and it's good to do that.
Diane?
I'd like to thank Tim for his thoughtfulness, caring, and input for the residents of Troutdale. And it's really neat to meet all the new people. And Amber, I'm excited for you. And congratulations to Shelley, Will, and Chris for your willingness to lead us into all our neat subjects we're going to have probably for the next year. And welcome to you as well. And also to remind you again that that between the Bar Museum and the Harlow House on the lawn is Yuma de Cuba. I've listened to them, they're amazing. The main singer is actually from Cuba, and he plays trumpet as well. Diverse group and lots of energy, lots of fun. That both museums will be open. We are asking that you wear a mask in the museums. That'll be during intermission, but it's a good time to just sit, relax. The shade always comes right when the concert starts. There's always a cool breeze. So bring your families, bring a blanket, go ahead and bring your food, and also, but don't forget the city part of First Friday. So just really nice walking distance. So check it all out, and please remember to support local. Some of our contributors are the new Good Coffee and Sugar Pine and others. So just please remember your local businesses. If we all kind of think local, they're struggling through a lot. I don't know what different closures or semi-closures may happen soon or in the fall. So that they're struggling, and they love the city. So please support them if you can. Thank you.
And where's that one at? That's right at the end of the Buxton.
Our concert?
Oh, the coffee.
No, Good Coffee. It's you're thinking of Grateful. There's Grateful Coffee too. I've plugged them. They are at the bottom of the hill. Good Coffee is the one that used to be the Ralph place that was Calcano's Winery, and that's their headquarters. So they have different coffee places in Portland, and they have they're roasting there, and the coffee is open in the front and also on the side. So it's outdoor seating at this time. Yeah, so the owners are Sam and Nick. Very, very nice guys, and they're excited for the site that they have. It's a beautiful building inside and what they've done to it. And it's a nice addition. They love being here and they're excited, and yeah, it's good for Troutdale.
How about you, Twyla?
Well, again, just it was beautiful, warm welcoming, and I'm excited to be part of the group. Learned a lot tonight, so I'm just looking forward to our next meetings.
Point of order with maybe in October, I guess, Alex, in October, let's add to the meeting, or I guess figure out, does Twyla automatically fill in Tim's spot just because he resigns? Or is there any sort of thing that needs to happen, I guess?
Yeah, I don't remember if
Forget how
there's,
that goes.
right, it's been a bit. I don't remember if we just have to like have an item at the meeting. It's like, oh, okay, Twyla is our new person or not, so I'll double check on that.
Okay.
You're welcome, Twyla. You're welcome.
And I will finish with welcome Alex, welcome Twyla, Nicole, and Amasa. It's great to have such a big group and so many of us here in person. So exciting to see the faces. Thank you for the vote of confidence. I wish I felt as confident about it as Will seems to feel, but fortunately, I'm hoping all of you will be patient, and with Will's support, we'll make it through the year and do great things. All right.
I move to close the meeting.
I'll just ask if I could say something I forgot earlier.
Of course.
Tim, since you're leaving, I also wanted to say that it's been a pleasure serving with you.
Thank you. Right back at you, man.
Thank you.
I move to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care, all.
Bye, Tim.
Bye, Tim. Good luck.